Hello everybody, welcome to the Redmen TV. It's starting 11 time, back to the Premier League, 2 games to go. Everyone else still feeling pretty shite after last night? Yeah, me too mate, me too. But if you want a bit more of that sort of post-match, what's the word for it, catharticism, you want a bit of some of the Redmen TV's content to make you feel a bit better about the game, then the final word's out on the website, theredmentv.com, so is the Man of the Match show. There are positives to draw from that game last night, but all we can do is make sure we go into this game as strong as we can be. We've got to bounce back and just absolutely kick Newcastle 7 ways to Sunday, because we can't finish this season off on a downer. We've got to go in, win our last 2 games, try our hardest in the Champions League second leg, and finish this season on as high as we possibly can. But yeah, Newcastle versus Liverpool at St James's Park. Let's get into the starting 11, eh? So we're going to run through some of these quite quick, because a lot of players nowadays pick themselves, and I don't want to waste your guys' time with positions that are irrelevant. So of course, Alisson keeps his place. He's the best goalkeeper at Liverpool Football Club, and hopefully the best player in the league, the best goalie in the league. Next player, of course. Actually, not of course. Obviously, I think this is a position that we direly missed against Barcelona. You guys saw on my starting 11 prediction versus Barcelona. This guy I thought would feature. I thought we attacked Barca fire with fire. We knew Jordi Alba was going to push up. We needed Trent Alexander-Arnold to push back. And that right hand side, until I know Jordan Henderson did help out, but Joe Gomez just wasn't offering enough down that right hand channel. We needed Trent's overlapping runs. We needed his vision and his ability to cross the ball. He's got to be a feature against Newcastle for me. He's an absolute key contingent in this Liverpool team. So for me, he comes straight back into the team. We've missed you, Alexander-Arnold. I can't wait to see you back at St James's. But anyway, next to centre-halves, this is a position that I'm sure a lot of you are like, what are you doing? It's bloody Lovren. You can't bring him into the team. But Matip's our best centre-half, besides Van Dijk for me. I think that we need to keep him fresh with Barcelona. If we're going to go for this in the second leg, we cannot concede a goal at Anfield. We concede a goal at Anfield, it's done. We have to score 5. And the best way to not concede is play your strongest 2 centre-halves. Verge can't miss a game because he's too important, and Matip's the best choice. He was my man of the match for me last night, so I think we've got to rest Matip. You can make a case for Gomez, which we'll get into in the questions at the end, but for me, I think he's going to go Lovren. This is what I think Klopp's going to pick as well, by the way. Personally, maybe I'd pick Gomez, but I think Lovren, what more if you can't get into a game at Newcastle, I don't know what game he's going to get into. So I think Lovren will start this game. That's my opinion on what Klopp's going to pick. But the next position alongside him picks itself. Again, guy's not missed a game all season. Two more games for a perfect season. He's already Player of the Year. Didn't get a quiet game against Barcelona, so this is time where he rights his wrong. He comes against Barcelona, doesn't let anybody through, has a really solid game, goes back to being the Van Dijk that we all know and love as being impassable. He's supposed to be sort of the linchpin of our defence, and Matip outshone him last night. So Van Dijk needs to get back on the horse, get back to being that destroyer that we know he is. So Van Dijk keeps his place alongside, again, a guy we have no cover here. We're not going to play Alberto Moreno. You're not going to play James Milner. It's got to be Andy Robertson, again, a guy who's played every game this season. He keeps his place. He was fantastic against Barcelona. I thought him and Sadio Mane on that left-hand side were our best avenues of attack. So Robbo keeps his place. 2 more games, lad. Well, 3 including the Champions League, and you can have a rest because, by God, you deserve one over the summer. So Robbo keeps his place. Midfield, with the Naby Keita injury, of course, he's out for the rest of the season. Slim pickings now. Adam Lallana's also injured, so it's going to be sort of, there's only a few midfielders left to choose from. So Fabinho, I think, has got to keep his place. Thought he was really good first half against Barcelona. Pretty poor second half against Barcelona. So we want that first half Fabinho that we saw yesterday. And, he's not coming up against the likes of Messi and Luis Suarez. He's not going to have to mark 2 of the best players in the world. He's going up against, potentially Iosi Perez. He's a good player, but I think he's got, if he's coming off the back of Messi, he's going to have learnt a lot from that experience, and I think he's going to be fine in that 6 role. But alongside him, we have got, I actually forgot, Hendo. Hendo. So like I say, there's only a few choices to pick from him in midfield, but taking over from Keita, I thought Henderson had a really solid game. That he plays that inch-perfect pass to Sadio Mane, and Sadio Mane should have scored it. At the end of the day, Hendo could not have done any better in that position. Plays it through, Mane breaks the lines, and he just has to put it in. Hendo couldn't have done any more there, and again we saw more of that attacking midfield role. Jordan Henderson that really looks threatening. I think we'll see him feature against Newcastle, and I think he's going to have a good game. So yeah, Hendo stays in the team alongside, again, the other guy that only other option we've really got. Gini Wijnaldum back in this position here, central midfield, Jurgen, yeah? But it's not his fault, is it? He got played as a number 9 for some reason. When have we ever seen him play a number 9? I don't even know if he's played a number 9 in his life. I know he's played an 8, a 10, a wing. Maybe he played it a little bit at Newcastle, maybe a little bit for the Netherlands. I'm not sure, but he's never played it for Liverpool. What a random curveball that was last night, wasn't it? Like, it was, I feel like Klopp was trying to mind game Barcelona so much that he mind gamed himself. I think he just looked at his sheet and went, yeah, we'll put him up front. And then it just ended up being Wijnaldum that his hand landed on because he just wouldn't want to give anybody a clue. But I don't know. No, it was tough for Gini, but I want him back in that number 8 role that, you know, he's become very reliable in. Shake it off from last night. It's not your fault, lad. You got put in a position that you've got no experience in, and you tried your best, you know, and it didn't work out for us. So Gini, back in midfield for me, keeps his place, and then, you know, again, talking about positions on the pitch that you can't really get cover for, it's going to be bloody hell, Tom. Tom tells me I've got to be quick with this. He just sits there daydreaming. Mo Salah, yeah, he was still really good against Barcelona. You know, he created a lot of chances. He was still such a huge threat. And do you know why I think that we didn't see that electric Mo Salah? Because he didn't have Trent Alexander-Arnold with him. You know, Trent Alexander-Arnold and Mo Salah are a pair this season, especially since Trent's come on in such good form with his assist ability. Just that overlap, the same way Robertson does with Mane. Trent and Salah's overlap is what's dangerous. You know, you can't mark Salah and mark Trent and mark Jordan Henderson or Naby Keita on the inside. It's got to be those 2 or 3 options alongside Salah to keep the defence guessing, because he's a very big handful on his own. But when you've got 2 or 3 players from Barcelona's defence, world-class players, just to be able to stand there and sort of mark him out of the game, it's difficult for him. But again, this is not Barcelona we're playing, it's Newcastle, and I think we'll see Mo Salah angry. You know, I think that front 3 looked angry. Salah and Mane especially looked pissed off that they couldn't get a goal against that Barcelona team, when especially this guy, you know, he misses from 7 yards. 7 yards, Mo, come on, man. If anything, just, you know what, forget it. I'm angry at that miss, but I'm going to put it behind me, and I hope he puts his wrongs right against Newcastle, and we can, you know, finish this season on a high. So Mo keeps his place alongside the other winger, Sadio Mane. Again, I think he pushes Vidal in the face yesterday, doesn't he, when it gets all a bit feisty, and he gives it that. I've not seen that from Sadio Mane. You know, that Sadio Mane is sort of the definition of a pacifist for me. You know, he rarely kicks out, he rarely gets angry at players. But I like that from Sadio Mane. I like that he's angry. He's annoyed that they couldn't get a goal against Barcelona. I want to see that tenaciousness, that ferocity from Sadio Mane. I want him to tear Newcastle apart down that left-hand side, along with Andy Robbo. These guys have got something to prove now. You know, they've got to put a stamp on this at the end of this season, finish on 97 points, whether we win the league or not. You know, this is the makings of, you take it to the wire and you say this is as much as we could do. And then the same with the second leg of the semi-final. We say, you know what, we're going here. We could lose 4-3, but we gave it our all. And I don't want this to be anything close to, you know, a crumble. I don't want this to be the mark of where our season just falls off a cliff. These guys have got to put in a huge shift against Newcastle and say, Barcelona away does not define us. We're going to show you exactly why we are the top 2 Premier League goal scorers in the league. So yeah, Sadio Mane keeps his place alongside probably the most important man in our forwards, Bobby. Oh my God, how much do we miss him when he's not in the team? Like, it's unbelievable. Okay, of course, we've got Gini Wijnaldum there, but the fact that Shaqiri, Divock Origi, Daniel Sturridge, none of those guys were picked to replace Bobby Firmino. It just, the golfing class between Bobby Firmino and the rest of our attacking options is diabolical. You know, if you want to know about some of the potential forwards that we're linked with in the summer, go and check out the Reds News Roundup on the redmentv.com. We did a massive discussion this week on the likes of Memphis Depay, sort of a potential forward options that could fit Liverpool. You know, because I personally think we need a 4th world-class forward to replace Bobby Firmino or any of that front 3 when they do inevitably get an injury. So he's got to be back in the team. I say it every single week I do this show. When Bobby's fully firing, the whole team is. You know, it took him, like 2 minutes to create that chance that Salah should have scored. He's so important to this team, and I'm hoping that he's on the back of this injury now. You know, he was fit enough for a little bit of an appearance, but he's going to have enough of a rest now to start against Newcastle, because, God, we really need Bobby, don't we? But anyway, that is the starting 11. This is how it looks on the pitch. You know, this is what we've come to see. The 4-3-3, I haven't got a clue what sort of formation we were playing yesterday. It was sort of, some people were saying it was a 5 at the back. It looked more like a diamond with at some points. There was about 17 different graphics from BT to all of the people who are mock up all the graphics on when the team sheet gets announced with sort of an amalgam of players everywhere. But this is the tried and trusted 4-3-3 that we've gone to pretty much home and away since the turn of the year, and given every team we've come up against trouble. So I think, not much choice here in this midfield. Maybe we see an Ox, I don't know. This front three's got to start for me. No risks. I don't want to see a Divock Origi. I don't want to see a Shaqiri. I want to see our strongest front three just absolutely terrorising that Newcastle back line. And I think Deggsy's got to be in because Matip's too important for that away leg. If we're sitting here and saying we can't give up hope, then we've got to kick on and say, right, we're going to play our strongest 11 there. And Matip, for me, is part of the strongest 11. So we save him for that defensive stability. Anyway, let me know what you guys are saying in the comments. Tom, what do we got?
We got a green super chat from Eth Sham Ul Hussan. Thank you very much. He says, do you think Klopp rests players versus Newcastle so are rested against Barca?
Yes, I do, mate. That's why I've put Lovren at centre-half, because I think, make no bones about it, Lovren is weirdly enough now, our fourth choice centre-half. Besides Joe Gomez on pure talent, and on his day is our strongest second choice, but he's not been there. We've missed him for 4 months, and he's only just working himself back in the team. So right now, Joel Matip's the number one choice, and he was phenomenal. I don't think anybody in the comments will disagree with me when I say he was the man of the match against Barcelona. He was outshining the likes of Van Dijk, PFA Player of the Year Van Dijk. Matip coming into a class of his own at the minute, and I think that we have to preserve him. We know he's still quite injury prone, and I don't know if 3 games in the space of 7 days is good for him. So we'll have to see. I think personally he's going to go Lovren because I don't know if he trusts Gomez enough just yet to bring him in after his performance. But equally, I could see a Gomez in here. But first and foremost, I think he will rest Matip. But thank you for your question.
Jamie V2 says, I think Bobby should rest, as should Mane.
Wow. That is I appreciate your comment, mate, but I've got to say I don't think that's the way forward whatsoever. We are in danger of falling off a cliff. To come away from an absolute killing game like Barcelona 3-0, it's not the fact we played badly. We did not play badly. It's the nature in which we lost. One of the best free kicks I've ever seen by David Beckham in the World Cup qualifiers, and you've got a fluky goal that comes off Suarez's knee to the crossbar to like a FIFA 14. Messi just sort of lays it in with his chest. And the first goal was world class. Very well taken by Luis Suarez. But we had 3 big chances in that game, the same as Barcelona. Salah should have scored, James Milner should have scored. We had clear-cut opportunities, it just didn't fall for us. And what we need to do is make sure it does fall for us against Newcastle. 2 games left, 2 games, not a chance any of these 3 get rested, because these are our firepower. These are the guys we need to beat teams like Newcastle, who are a very good team. They've already beaten Manchester City this season. We need to go there and take them as seriously as we possibly can. And we haven't seen the likes of Daniel Sturridge, Divock Origi, Xherdan Shaqiri starting against teams like Huddersfield, Fulham, Cardiff, in a game that's a must-win to put the pressure and keep the pressure on Manchester City. I don't think we change any of this front three if we can. Like I say, there is a chance Bobby misses out because of his injury, but if it was me, none of them get rested.
Zayn says Shaqiri needs to start. He looked sharp when he came on against Huddersfield.
Yeah, I suppose, mate. But again, Huddersfield have been relegated. They're at bottom of the league. They've conceded the most goals in the league. This is Rafa Benitez's Newcastle. If you think Burnley away is a difficult game, look at that City game where it took him a long time to break Burnley down. This is Benitez. There's the argument there that you could say he's going to come out, all guns blazing, and let us just hit him on the break. And that's dreamland. Rafa's still very much a Liverpool man. He still loves Liverpool, but he's not going to roll over for Liverpool. Or if you think that he's just going to come out there and just go, yep, I'll play centre forward for you, me, Rafa Benitez, so they've got no goal scoring chances. It's not going to happen. He's still going to take his team out and play that defensive style of play that he's been masterful at ever since he started his managerial career. So I don't know. I think that again, same as the last question, I think this has to be what we start with, and then maybe we feature a Shaqiri. But bear in mind, like I say, we've got a minimum of 3 games left, 2 league games that we have to win. And if you've got to win these games, why wouldn't you start your strongest 11? And to me, Xherdan Shaqiri just doesn't get into our starting 11 right now. He's not taking Salah's place. He's not taking Bobby. He's not taking Mane's. And I don't trust his defensive ability against Newcastle over any of these guys. So, again, maybe we'll see him, but I don't think so.
Eric Forbes says, if City drop points this weekend and we go top, do you think we will rotate for the Champions League and rest for the Prem?
Mate, if City drop points Don't even tease me. If City drop points, I would literally happily not play in the Champions League. I would literally be like, go and play Mignolet on his own. Like, go and field Mignolet at Anfield, and that's it. Because at that point, we've got one game away from winning the Premier League. One game, and that's all I want. That's all Liverpool fans want. I would forget about this Barcelona game if Manchester City lost against Leicester, or even drew against Leicester, because it's back in our hands with one game to go. That's dreamland. You know, that's what everyone's been fingers crossed for about 7 or 8 months now, because it's just been that tight. So to me, it's the same as saying, would you throw away the Champions League for the league? Without a shadow of a doubt, mate. So I think if Leicester can do a job on City, everything's forgotten about from last night.
Last comment. It's more of a statement than a question, but it was a green super chat. Thank you very much.
Cheers,
Corey Madden says simply, "Forza Liverpool."
Forza Liverpool. I agree, mate. You know, everybody keep your heads up. 7th loss of the season. You know, put that in retrospect. That's unbelievable, unbelievable. And again, you have to go back through the game. We had the same amount of big chances created as Barcelona. We had more possession, 52% to 48%, more shots from outside the box, more shots from inside the box, more shots on target. We played better than Barcelona, and sometimes you have to hold your hands up and say, it wasn't our day. It wasn't our day, and if there's any team that can come out at Anfield and turn it around, it's Liverpool. Look at Dortmund. Like, that what dreams are made of in that situation. And I think personally, I'm still very disheartened, but that's why I like giving these shows, because back on the horse, back into the Premier League, these guys should be raring to go. They should be pulling their hair out at the way that they were, that game fell for them. So I can't wait for Newcastle. I'm sure you guys can't wait either to just put this game behind us and put it to bed. But anyway, that's been my starting 11 for Newcastle away. So stay strong, Reds. Drop a like on the video. Comment any changes you like here. I'm always jumping in the comments on the YouTube video, having a little discussion with you guys. So I'll see you over there once this is finished. So redmentv.com if you fancy any of your post-match versus Barcelona. Like I say, if you're like me and you want to leave it, that's fine. That's absolutely fine. And join us again on Saturday / it'll be Sunday or Monday that all the post-match content goes out for Newcastle, where hopefully Liverpool are top of the league, eh? Fingers crossed. Thanks a lot, guys.